target on my back, lone survivor last. They got me in the sights. So then the trigger fingers go, living the dangerous life. Hey, 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 every day when I wake, I'm trying to get up, they're knocking me down. Hey, 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 man, I need to be saved. You're making me strong, you're making me stand. Shine like a rocket up into the sky, nothing can stop me tonight. Make me invincible, unbreakable, just like a tidal wave. You make me brave, don't bite, titanium, light so amazing. Like the roar of victory and a stand. Who can touch me, 'cause I'm who can stop me tonight? You make me feel invincible. I feel it, invincible. I feel
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Core Racing League. I'm going to be your host here, Brendan, with Dylan here tonight for the Core Premiere All-Star Night. I'm kind of excited here. We're currently running the Spec Fords at Bristol, which is certainly a odd combination you normally don't see here very often, a road core at an oval track, only turning lefts here, Dylan. What are you expecting of this race here tonight?
Brendan, not gonna lie, I'm looking at drafting. Who's gonna be the first one to blow the motor? I mean, they're watching just a little bit. They were blowing their motors there in practice. So draft, keeping it off the wall. I know these spec racers, they can get minimal damage right then and there once it is up and going. So definitely got to watch how much you're using that bumper to the rear bumper is. A little bit of damage could go a long way here. Obviously, it's Bristol. It's the world's fastest well, you can't say it's the world's fastest half mile because Winchester takes that place, but it's the famous half mile. That's going to be the last Coliseum here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And as you look at these cars, Brendan, they're a little bit weird. Normally you have the big, bulky stock cars running here at Bristol Motor Speedway, but here tonight we're going to have the little one-seater right in the middle of the car, and it kind of looks like a full-blown, bigger go-kart.
You can say that, but also when you mentioned about our drafting and how that's going to work, you could tell just by how the arrow is built on these spec Fords, it's almost kind of like an ARCA car. If you bump wrong, you could risk lifting out the rear ends and sending a guy into the wall, or maybe even worse later on in the night. But what we're watching right now is not qualifying. Well, actually, it kind of is. It's just a little bit different. It's based off how the NASCAR Cup Series used to do their All-Star qualifying back in about when it was called the Sprint Cup. But you do a lap, as you see Christopher Hamilton, he just did that. Now he's going to come in for a full service pit stop, and then he's going to go back out, do one more lap. Carl is in the back managing all the lap times and how that's going to work. He'll give you the qualifying order for the upcoming race, which you could kind of consider this one as being a consi, because this is going to be, if I can find the rules Carl put up here earlier. Yes, this is session 1, the All-Star Open. The top 4 drivers advance. Actually, no, excuse me. I'm sorry. Top 3 advance and a fan vote winner, which is voted on Core's Facebook page. So if you make the top 3 in this race tonight, you're guaranteed to make it to the All-Star race. And then you could be lucky later on in the night, because if you never had that great of a run. So Christopher Hamilton just finished up his laps, so that's going to be interesting to see. I realize I'm not sharing my screen for Dylan. Now I am.
Yeah, you kind of popped out of Discord there and then came back, but qualifying here is going to be a little bit different, obviously, like you mentioned there earlier, and this is just pretty much just to set the open side of things, the top 10, or not the top 10, but 10 drivers have made it to the actual all-star race, the Open, obviously. They're going to do a little bit more racing, and then they're going to have a fan vote over on the Core Racing League Facebook page to have somebody to get in on a wild card type of setting.
Maybe that wild card is what some people are hoping on. I mean, you got some guys who do oval as their main gig here on iRacing, and they know exactly what they're doing, even though it may be a weirder car. Some guys just may be hoping on that wild card. Some guys are going on pure skill here tonight. But Dylan, have you turned any laps with this car and track combo? How do you expect the fuel and tires to go out? I mean, I don't remember these cars burning up fuel as quick as Xfinity cars or stuff like that.
So the last time I actually ran the Spec Racer, it was the Spec Racer at Concord. And that was actually a pretty fun race until, you stayed behind somebody for so long and, obviously your motor blew. But, tires, I mean, it's Bristol, the turns are fairly wide and these cars don't really pick up that much speed. So maybe tires and fuel won't be an issue, but maybe they could be. I mean, we won't be able to tell until the actual All-Star race starts, and that's definitely going to be something to watch out for. I mean, if you just look at the tires, they're so skinny. You would think that they wouldn't be that like grippy, but in all honesty, these cars have so much grip that it's actually insane.
Yeah, these things are kind of like unexpected, very good cars of everything. You could say it's a great learner car for what they're meant to be. I mean, these things are originally supposed to be a D-class road car, so they'll do pretty good for what they're supposed to be. Pointer now getting his laps down. If you need any AMSOIL products, contact this man right here doing his laps. Kelly Pointer will get you all hooked up here for any of your AMSOIL product needs. If you need anything, just go hit him up, as he's going to go do his qualifying laps now. He's going to come in for that pit stop right about now. You see them topping out about 112 miles an hour going into turn 3 in about 5th gear just before dropping into pit road. And so if that says anything, if that's a non-draft car, I'm probably maybe expecting the draft speeds to be up maybe 120, if we're very lucky, 130.
Yeah, draft lab's definitely going to be something to watch out for. And, the big thing, like I've been saying pretty much the whole broadcast so far, watch your engine temp because these cars will go or they will blow. I mean, it's not going to be pretty because once they blow up, they're just going to sink like a rock. And with it going to be tight pack racing, that's exactly what's going to happen. Somebody's going to blow. It could be on the inside. Hopefully, the drivers are on the inside when it does happen, so that way they can hurry up, just get out of the way of fellow racers. If they're blowing up on the outside, well, I guess you better white knuckle the steering wheel and just pray before anything else does end up happening. But I mean, you can see there on the front of Kelly Porter's car, not a lot of grill opening there on the number 75 machine. So, I mean, the front end of the car is a little bit pointed towards the ground. The back of the car is like a square box. So, bump drafting good in these cars. These are very aero dependent as well, as you can tell, like the sleek little body lines in these Spec Racer Fords.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, it's only a matter of time when that engine's gonna go. But we are now waiting on our next guy to qualify. Probably realized we should have started the stream once the qualifying ended, but it doesn't hurt talking a little bit more, as it's actually Handwork's turn now to go qualify. We're gonna go on the roll bar here. See exactly the wheel inputs. It probably isn't nothing crazy. I mean, no offset. The steering ratio can't be that bad. Man, now Handwork doing his lap, though. Coming around turn 4 to start, I believe, his first lap. And then, not this time, next time, we'll come to his pit stop. I mean, here he's lifting a little bit. So, maybe a little bit less grip than we think.
Yeah, Carl Hader, we're coming on into pit lane. Again, you can go as fast as you want. They're just going to tell everybody black clear, get those black flags cleared. They got to take 4 tires onto this pit stop. And like you said, they're going to do it just like the older uh, Nextel Cup series. You do a full lap, pit lane, come out, and do another lap. And then that's going to be your combined time. So slowest or fastest time, you know, consecutively is going to be the way to go. As Carl Hedwick is already back out there on the track, and he's going to finish up this lap.
Yeah, he took those 4 tires. He's going to come around again. Make sure that lap is complete. You hear him lifting, though. It's a pretty decent lift. So that's going to be something interesting to watch because now not only it's just drafting, you kind of have to watch when the guys in front of you or behind you are lifting so you don't get wrecked, essentially. I mean, it's certainly going to be chaos. It wouldn't be right if it wasn't or since it is the All-Star race, excuse me. This is kind of to be expected, so.
Yeah, definitely going to be expected. There is, looks like everybody kind of just having a little bit of fun before we get ready to get into the race activities here on CRN.
And actually, I believe qualifying is finished because everybody's now taking the track. We're going to take a little bit of a break then because we still got a long ways to go until the beginning of the race. Unless Carl's going to push it since qualifying is over. That may actually be a smart thing to do, push up the start time.
Could be a good possibility there. As looking at it now, everybody's out there getting some more draft practice going and making sure what they can and can't do. As you can see, Kevin Foster on the outside and Thaddeus Marshall down to the inside. And honestly, Brendan, I believe maybe cold tire effect going into turn number 1. You're going to see everybody try to go down to the inside. They're going to slide all the way up to the wall.
Yeah, they're cold tires, definitely interesting. Maybe that's why we saw everybody lifting early on in the qualifying run. But real quick, have confirmation from Carl Hanward. The race is going to start at 9:30 in about 2 minutes from now. So we should be all good once 9:30 rolls around, which will basically even out the practice timer at a single hour. We're going to cut off the final 10 minutes and go from there and get this race going earlier so we can get the true all-star race going on earlier. And that's going to be something excited to watch.
Yeah, definitely can't wait to see who actually made everything going on into tonight's all-star race. Looking here, qualifying orders for the pre-race qualifier: Dane with a 104.98, Justin Kirby with a 103, Tim Ponzi with a 108, Kelly Porter with a 104, Brandon Metler with a 104.63, Kevin Hollywood Foster quick time with a 1 minute point 30, Christopher Bridesmaid Hamilton with a 104.38, Mark Parkhurst with a 103.79, Thaddeus Marshall with a 102.87, and Carl Hedwick with a 103.37.
That's oh, that's the pre-qualifiers. Okay, I'm like, because that's something from that 4 o'clock earlier this afternoon. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I was looking out. I happened to see their times, so I was like, hey, you know what? Might as well do what we need to do and see it. So I ended up, I had to do that.
Yeah, I fell in the time somehow.
Yeah, definitely got to fill in the time. Another thing that we could do to fill in the time is want to sit there and say thank you to each and every one of you guys out there that like, share, subscribe to CRN. Want to give a big shout out to Carl Hedwick and Jimmy Covert for bringing myself and Brendan Pold along. Can't wait for season number 11 as I'll be down on the track. Brendan's going to take over the broadcast for season number 11. So can't wait to see what Brendan has in store for us next season. Want to give a big shout out to everybody that has liked, share, subscribed to CRN. Almost up to 800 subscribers. Our next goal is 800. If you guys can and will do. Help us get that subscribe goal completely free. All you gotta do is just hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell notification, turn on all notifications so you get everything you want on CRN and then some. We have a week full of broadcasts going throughout the entire week. Tomorrow night, Monday, no broadcast due to it's the Miatas. We don't do the broadcast for those Miatas. Tuesday night, we're gonna have two broadcasts. Actually, no, the Dirt Series is actually done for the season. We have one broadcast. That's going to be the Xfinity Series with Brendan Poole and John Nobinger in the broadcast booth. Wednesday, we're going to see myself and possibly Ricky No Show Gonzalez in the broadcast booth with me as Lucky Dog Racing League takes on week number 2 in the Tour Mods. Jeff Radke got the first win last week. Going to see if he can go back to back, but he's got to start from the back and work his way all the way back to the front at Myrtle Beach. You don't want to miss that. Thursday night, you're going to see myself and Carl Hadwick back in the broadcast booth for the Core GT Series as we get ready to tackle that along. As normally I would have done a truck league with Mr. Brandon Polt, but they pushed it back till January 18th. So not going to be able to get in the truck earlier than I anticipated. Friday night, no broadcast as of right now. Same with Sunday or Saturday, but we're going to be right back here on a Sunday night with the Drivers' Cup. That's definitely going to be something fun. The draft for that will take place right after the All-Star race. Can't wait to see who gets put on what team and can't wait to have that going. That was a lot of talking, Brendan.
Well, it
Woo!
would be for the second to last time here, at least in the Premier Series, most likely. But the first race is going to get going here in a second. The pace car is going to drop down. Next time by pole position, Tyler Kokeko. P2 is Jimmy Covert. P3, James Molyneux. P4, John Crane. P5, Matt Crockett the Rocket. P6, Dan Phelps. And P7 is Joseph Sullivan rounding out this field right now. And we got 50, I believe 50 laps. We have to settle this one. I'll make sure of that before I'm wrong. And I believe I am right. So, yep, we got 50 laps with 7 guys here to make sure who makes it to the All-Star race. Top 3 make it by default. And then one more gets in by a wild card. Pace car is down on pit road. Getting ready to start this here tonight. Green flag is out. Barney's waving that green flag hard. Kokeko on the bottom. Doing all that he can to at least hold that lead. Cobert's going to be stuck on that outside lane. He's going to drop to that bottom lane. James Molyneux holds P3 as it's a little bit of a fight for P4. Crockett on the outside. Crane on the bottom. He taps the apron there a little bit.
You know, not going to lie, it is good to see John Crane back out here. We missed him for the last half of the Premier Series, but coming back nice and strong as pretty much everybody is single filed all the way through. Look at the
Oh,
dive.
Crockett!
The 10 by the 10, the 85, the 76, the 11. Locking them on up. And that's going to bring out our first yellow flag of the night as Matt Crockett, the Rocket, is doing what October Sky would have done and put that rocket down to the other way around.
It's actually showing more crashes further up front. Was that? SDK was showing a little bit more, but real quick, we'll check what happened with Crockett here.
Yeah, you see here, Dan Phelps is going to get a really good run. Or no, Crockett gets a really good run, goes right underneath Molyneux, and it just ran out of real estate. Dan Phelps trying to get on the binders, just can't. These cars don't really have the best braking system known to man. Joe Sullivan, a little bit of net code on that number 76 machine. Look at John Crane. He locked those tires up so quick, put himself in the wall to not hit Matt Crockett. And I think John Crane got away with that with minimal
Oh, I
damage.
knew I missed
There it
something.
is.
I knew I
There
missed
it is.
something.
The 37 of Tyler Kokeko. Not sure what's going on here.
Oh,
Molyneux.
they checked up
Oh,
for the pace car.
yeah, Molyneux not paying attention. Dan Phelps
Oh,
got it slowed down as well, and Molyneux has to use that jump to the pit lane. And yeah, that's definitely something that you don't really want to see here in an All-Star Open.
No, I mean, maybe Molyneux spaced out. Didn't expect the pace car to be right there. I mean, it's also Bristol. I mean, there's a caution, and if you're on the front straight, you're gonna have to check up for the pace car almost immediately. But that's gonna put Molyneux a lap down, I believe, very early on into this race here. As my SDK is putting Matt Crockett in the lead, which I know is wrong.
Yeah, Matt Crockett currently. Well, there he goes. Now he's sitting
There we
back in
are.
P number 6. It's going to be Tyler Kokeko with P number 1, Dan Phelps in second, John Crane in third, Joe Sullivan in fourth, Matt Crockett in fifth, and Jimmy Covert rounding out your 6-car field.
I'll tell you what, though, 50 laps is going to feel very long when there's only 6 drivers running, but you pretty much have a high chance of making it as long as you just avoid all the accidents. As long as you keep that nose and nose and rear bumper clean, you should be all good. But you never really know until we cross for the checkered flag. And we'll see from there as pace car lights are off. We're about to get going here again. Actually, I just realized the lap count has been frozen throughout all of this. So we've only still completed 3 laps, even under all of these pacing.
It looks like caution laps do not count under pacing. So that's going to be something to gear up for his pace car.
Hello, lights are back on.
Lights are back on. Oh, okay, so they're going to do 1 more pace, or 2 more laps around the pace.
Okay, I understand why. But I understand why. Because now the field was frozen, maybe Carl was nice. Molyneux is back out on track, not a lap down, crucially.
Yeah, it's a good thing to have live admins in the race, get everybody back out there, and to see these guys go for the gold. But it's going to be Tyler Kokeko and Dan Phelps leading these drivers to the green flag. Kokeko on the inside, Phelps on the outside. Barney's got the green flag in his hand. Pace car down into pit lane. Geico restart zone coming to the green. And we are back underway here at Bristol. Look at the run that James Molyneux's getting. Making it 3 wide, getting around Joe Sullivan. He's got to give that position back up as he was catching up to the pace. As he drops right back into P number 7. Tyler Kokeko has all the clean air in the world, and that's pretty much where you want to be. Is Dan Phelps going to drop all the way back to P number 3?
Crane to the bottom now. He's your new P2 position. Dan Phelps trying to do what he can on the outside. Watch the engine temperature start to rise because these cars normally aren't in a draft for this long. Kokeko's certainly loving seeing that engine cool. As Crane will clear Phelps on the top side. New P2 spot. Phelps still trying to fight it. Covert still trying to do what he can on the bottom there. So far, it's going to be there. Now Covert making a move on Crane. Crane going wide into turn 3. So far, that's going to be Crockett's spot, and Kokeko's loving seeing that in his mirrors as he's pulling away.
Yeah, Kokeko pulling away. Dan Phelps try to give Jimmy Covert a little bit of a push. Going it down into the corner. A little bit of tight race in between the 76 and 85. Thought maybe the 85 didn't see the 76 coming down to the inside. He was going to cut down, but nonetheless able to keep it clean. Joe Sullivan move him up to P number 3, and here comes Joe Sullivan down to the inside. Go to dive underneath Jimmy Covert. Going to get a nice little shot from the number 85. 85 is going to jump back up to the outside with Jimmy Covert. And Tyler Kokeko's loving it. He's like, you know what, y'all keep battling and be side by side. I'm just going to keep pulling on away.
Yeah, Kokeko, again, loving what he's seeing behind him as Sullivan still trying to fight on that bottom. Covert on the top. I almost said Crockett for a second, but Covert's still on the top there. Phelps on the bottom. And now that is Molyneux already moving back up. And it seems like this is a very inside dominant track here, as it's not really hard to get the runs through. It's kind of 50-50. You get the runs off the corners for the outside lane, but you don't get anything through it. It's actually Phelps made a mistake, and Covert manages to keep that P3 spot.
Yeah,
As,
Covert. Look how quick Joe Sullivan caught up to Tyler Kokeko. You could tell Joe Sullivan probably took tires after, that little bit of an incident there. So the tires for the number 76 machine as he's battling for the race lead all over the back bumper. Dan Phelps getting in the wall coming off turn number 4. And that's what I was talking about, the tightness of these cars. You can see it there. He was all over the back bumper of James Molyneux, and it just got him tight coming out of the corner.
I gotta change some of my volumes real quick. Give me 1 second here. All these up, main volume down a little. Alright, just got a complaint from outside YouTube chat saying they could not hear iRacing at all, so I had to fix that real quick. But what happened to Phelps there? Because I missed something. If you could fill me in a little bit, because now he's all the way on back. Covert still trying to hold that P3 spot, now being under pressure from Molyneux on the outside lane. Looks like Molyneux's going to try and go for that outside, maybe a crossover with Covert's push. Good run out of turn 4. On the high side is Molyneux. Trying to do what he can. Like I said, not great run through the corner, but he's going to get the run off. Molyneux doing all right here.
Yeah, holding it strong on that outside, and with Dan Phelps, just a little bit of tightness like that coming off.
Oh, Covert!
Covert getting turned.
And then, Phelps!
Dan Phelps. Yard sale is in session here tonight. Jimmy Covert going straight to the pit lane. Molyneux on that outside, tagged to the wall, came down and tagged Jimmy Covert. And then ended up tagging the number 85, who I guess got his front clip back. I guess you could call it a clip.
I
but
guess.
Still a big yard sale out here on the front stretch between Jimmy Covert and the number 94. So if anybody wants any signed autograph memorabilia from Jimmy Covert or James Molyneux, make sure you guys get a hold of me or Brendan. We can we can start working something out there for everybody.
Really missing out on something there, but we're gonna take a look and see what happened here. Turns 3 and 4 seem to be all right. It seemed like Covert tried to cut him off, which actually I'm 1 lap before, so I'm gonna fast forward a little bit here. But it seemed like Covert. Oh, Molyneux smacked. Oh, wrong button. My bad. Still getting used to this. But from what we could have saw, Molyneux smacks the wall. That sends him into Covert. So Jimmy was just, unfortunately, a victim there as both of their front clips go flying. And then Dan Phelps here comes in a little bit later. Broken left front from Molyneux, so he's going to have to take the real damage this time as that fast repair's gone. And look at Phelps almost drifting it. He managed just to keep it off that wall, and we'll just watch that clip teleport on right about now.
Yeah, this clip teleported back on, and not gonna lie, it looked like the Snowball Derby. Big pile up on the front stretch during the Snowball Derby today down in Pensacola. I happened to see, I believe it was Jake Finch, as Jake Finch got in the side of Noah Gregson, and one of his fenders went flying in the air over the catch fence. So that kind of reminded me a little bit about that.
Now, I did not watch the Snowball Derby myself, but I know it was fun. At least from the social media feed I have seen.
Yeah, I happen to watch it on Facebook, so that's how I knew about it. I was like, yeah, there we go. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, it just straight stacked on the front stretch on a restart, and that was bad. I was like, oof. I was like, well.
Couple moments.
Yeah, couple oh crap, grab the brake, grab the clutch, try to get it low down as best as you possibly can, just not able to do so. So that's something that couldn't be done. But yeah, I mean that is definitely going to be a bucket list for me for sure. Going down to Florida just to go to a snowball derby once I get another week of vacation.
Well, unfortunately, looking at the timing tower, Molyneux and Cover are declared out, and Crockett's still in the pit, but he's now on pit exit now. So 5 guys will be racing so far to make that. Now, something I'm actually kind of curious about. Let's say one of these guys does wreck out and the car is totaled. Would Carl just cancel the race and be like, well, there's your top 4, fan vote or not? Or would it not go into the top 3?
Not I don't know how it's going to work. I'm not 100% sure. Is you see it there? Everybody down on the inside. Dan Phelps was the only one on the outside, and Tyler Cook or Joe Sullivan actually is going to presume the race lead. John Crane was looking down to the inside of Dan Phelps, just not able to get it done. As everybody going to be single file here. Tyler Kokeko decided to go into pit lane, use that fast repair, looks like, because he has no damage on the rear end. So Tyler Kokeko going to try to work his way back up through the field. And look at the run he had through turn 1 and 2. Now he's all over the back
And
bumper
he's
of the
gone.
number 11.
Oh,
Oh, blinking. Now what you want to see there is Tyler Kokeko rounds the outside, high side shuffle. Oh, he dives it
onto the
back
bottom
down
he
low.
goes.
Ew,
What?
thought maybe that was going to mess up his entry there to turn number 3 and 4, but it didn't. He was able to keep it wrapped around the bottom. Tyler Kokeko trying to make it to the top 3.
And so far, doing well, holding that lane on the bottom, forcing Crane to run way wide and sending it in pretty good, too. So far, so good for Tyler Kokeko, managing to hold. Let's see what he can do into turn 1. Still has about 3 car lengths. He's clear now. Will he try and jump up? No. Crane's going to get the run off turn 2. But we know with just that move entirely, Kokeko has the speed, easily cleared now. Let's see if Crane tries to cross over. Good speed out of turn 4. He'll try the outside again with no avail. Tyler Kokeko in the top 3. John Crane jumps down to 4th.
Yeah, John Crane dropping down to P number 4. Matt Crockett back there kind of just biding his time. He knows there's a lot of laps left in this race. And, with Matt Crockett not having a fast repair, he doesn't really want to challenge too hard here. And you can see just how quickly that race can get spread out.
Yeah, now that we're now not halfway through just yet, we will be next lap. But now we're basically coming to halfway. You need to see how quick these things spread out, as our closest battle is actually Dan Phelps trying to taste down Joseph Sullivan up there. Trying to do all that he can to try and make it. I mean, at this point, he'll make it to the feature event. So right now, it's just bragging rights whether or not he's going to be able to take the dub here in the open. Well, maybe that's all you need. Is actually, oh, commentator's curse. He's in the wall. I'm going to get off his roll bar as quick as I can.
Yeah, looking at it now, he was able to get it up off of the wall, and luckily there's nobody down on his inside, so he didn't have to worry about moving down into somebody. So definitely a good driving just to keep it up into the wall, but still, and something that you don't really want to have happen to you a lot, as he's still trying to track down Joe Sullivan. He's got a little bit of right side damage to that number 85 machine, so wonder how much that's going to slow himself down.
You can see the battle for first. It's a pretty good split. I mean, from Sullivan to Phelps to second, and then from Phelps to Kokeko's another second. So, top 3 are split within only a good couple of seconds, which is a lot of time for these cars at this time, like this type of track. 1 second doesn't seem like much, but it's a lot to just try and make that time back up. As our order right now is Sullivan, Phelps, Kokeko, Crane, then Crockett. Who Crockett actually just entered pit lane. Maybe calling it a night. for right now, as maybe he's declared, or maybe there's fuel strategy we don't know about.
Yeah, maybe they do need fuel and we just didn't realize it, but 32 laps in out of 50, and you can only imagine how many laps Matt Crockett's going to lose. Is right now he's sitting 1 lap down, he's going to go 2 laps down. But Crockett can easily get those 2 laps back because once these drivers got a pit, he'll be good to make it the rest of the way. So that's definitely going to be something that you got to watch out for.
Yeah, you'll easily have enough gas. It's like you said, you just gotta be patient, and he'll make those laps back up, as he's now 3 down compared to the leader. I wonder if he's even gonna continue, because I don't think... Oh, I'm wrong. He is gonna keep going. I guess refueling does take that long. He's gonna lose 3 laps, maybe 4, because there's Sullivan. So he may end up losing 4 laps here just for a fuel stop, which is a crazy amount of time. But since nobody else has pit yet, he just has to be patient. It's Phelps is in.
Crockett's got a lot of damage on that right rear or that left rear. So that's going to be paying hinder amounts to him. But Dan Phelps in the pit lane, you're going to see him lose about 3 to 4 laps onto this pit cycle. So Matt Crockett doing the shortcut around this place, and if he took tires, it could really play well for him. As you can see, he's starting to pull away from Joe Sullivan, but not by much. So I don't think maybe he took any tires at all. As you've seen the difference between new tires and old tires, you see everybody coming back out, and Dan Phelps did not lose as many laps as Crockett did. Crockett lost 3, Dan Phelps only lost 1. And there's Dan Phelps right there. So Dan Phelps going to lose possibly 2 if he can't get that car up and moving into the high gears.
Maybe that's the difference between fuel only and 4 tire and full service stop, essentially. Maybe that's the difference for a 4-lap-esque thing. So Crockett's not really fighting Phelps there for position, nor was he trying to fight Sullivan. He's just trying to get that lap back in case we have any other cautions. He has a pretty high chance to be a wave around. Oh wait, no, since there's no the laps count freezes on cautions, there almost is no wave around, so that's kind of hoping on lucky dogs then.
Yeah, I don't even think they have lucky dogs on no caution laps being counted, but 10 laps to go here at Bristol Motor Speedway for the Open. 5 drivers still out there on the racetrack. Joe Sullivan all over the back bumper of Matt Crockett, the Rocket. Tyler Kokeko has to gain 2 seconds on the number 76 machine. And in just one corner, he went from 2.2 down to 1.9. So Tyler Kokeko, I think he's got some for the number 76 if he can get there in the allotted times. As looking at it now, Tyler Kokeko still riding on that 1.9 second range, kind of bringing it down a little bit, but then it loses a little bit of time going down the front stretches.
So is there a little bit of damage we don't see at Kokeko, or is he just messing up the corners that's making him lose that time on the straight? Right there, I believe he just smacked the wall. So that gives the gap back to 2 seconds. And Sullivan just has to hold it for 6 more laps this time by. John Crane currently sitting P3, so he's going to make the transfer spot if he can hold it. And then we obviously still have our wild card. We're all going to see how that plays up in about 5.5 laps time here tonight for the All-Star Open race.
Yeah, can't wait to see who all makes the feature presentation here tonight. Obviously, you're going to get the lineup set and then go out for, I believe, 100 laps in the All-Star race. Definitely going to be something fun out there to watch. As starting order for tonight's race is definitely... So the top 10 are already set. So it's Kevin Foster on pole, Thaddeus in second, Justin Kirby in third, Carl Hedberg in fourth, Mark Parkhurst in fifth, Chris Hamilton in sixth, Kelly Pointer in seventh, Brandon Mettler in eighth, Dane Simpson in ninth, Tim Ponzi in 10th, and then Joe Sullivan, if he keeps the race lead and win, he'll start 11th. Second will be Tyler Kokeko. Third will be John Crane. And then the 14th car is going to be the fan vote car. And that's going to be whoever ends up getting the fan vote taking place here momentarily.
And also, there's something we should mention about the All-Star race. Even though it's 100 laps, there will be 3 stages. Not kind of like how NASCAR does it, there'll be 3 stages. Stages 1 and 2 will be 25 laps. And at the end of stage 3, okay. At the end of stage 1, I believe, a random driver will receive an EOL. Could be the leader, could be last place. But real quick, coming down for the final half lap, Joseph Sullivan coming around turn 3 and 4. Kokeko would not be able to close the gap. Joseph Sullivan wins the All-Star Open. He gets his transfer spot in. Kokeko in second. John Crane in third, I believe. Yeah, he's coming around turn 4. Now, John Crane with the final guaranteed transfer spot. So that's going to be your top 3. Dan Phelps, P4. Matt Crockett in P5. So, that's your top 3. Now, you got any guesses for who the fan driver is?
I mean, I could definitely see maybe. I don't know. I kind of want to see Jimmy Colvert make the show. I think Jimmy Colvert would be a great addition, or maybe even Matt Crockett. I mean, those 2 drivers, one of the 2 try to be the most cleanest drivers out there, so maybe we can see that happening here momentarily.
But yeah, so with that race now over, we're gonna take a bit of a break because it's gonna be a little bit of time before I believe the next true all-star race starts here tonight. The current session has it planned to be open at 11:30, which I'm pretty sure Carl is gonna push that up for obvious reasons. So me and Dylan, we're gonna go take a break here. We'll come back to y'all at the beginning of the Core Premier Series All-Star Race. And And we are back here for the All-Star race here for the Core Primera Series. It's the same broadcasters as always, even though this ain't a new stream. It kind of feels like it, considering we kind of sat for about 10 minutes, and now we're going to get back going. The official field has been set here tonight. Dan Phelps is your fan vote winner. He is into the All-Star race by fan voting, as we're not going to show the grid here for the All-Star race here tonight. Tim Ponzi in P1, Christopher Hamilton P2, Thaddeus Marshall P3, Kelly Pointer, I think I'm reading this backwards. Hamilton P2, Thaddeus P3, Metler P4, Kokeko P5, Pointer P6, Kevin Foster P7, Justin Kirby P8, Carl Handwork P9, Mark Parker's in P10, Dane Simpson P11, John Crane P12, Joseph Sullivan in P13, Dan Phelps P14, and that rounds out the 14-car field here tonight. Actually, that's wrong. Is it? As I believe.
I know they put it down in the...
Yeah. Okay, I just read off the entirely wrong screen because SDK shows it wrong. What you see currently on the timing tower is right. Let's go with that.
Yeah, definitely going to be a fun race. I finally got into the session. Finally. I don't have to watch off of a different screen, so I can actually take the time and actually look and watch these beautiful cars go around the racetrack. The All-Star Open was during the day, but the All-Star race is going to be during the night, so these paint schemes are going to be absolutely glistening in the, I guess, moonlight, track lights, anything that you want to say or call them. The bad news about Carl is these cars don't have headlights, so he can't flash anybody. So they call Carl headlight handwork for a reason, is because he likes to flash people while he's racing.
At least they got brake lights. We can do that.
Yeah, I mean, they got one brake light. It's right behind the head, and normally you look at a regular car, it's right down in the bumper area, where this is pretty much where your head sits. That's pretty much where the brake light is going to be at. But Thaddeus Marshall, Kevin Foster are going to lead these drivers off to the green flag. Again, looks like 100 laps to the finish. Definitely going to be a fun race out here tonight. Thaddeus Marshall.
Knock, knock.
And
Hey,
that's
Jimmy!
an intruder alert. But green flag is out as we're a little bit scared from that. Kevin Foster, great run off the start here. Still getting fought on the outside from Thaddeus Marshall. Justin Kirby on the bottom there, trying to do what he can. Foster almost has him cleared on the top. He will now. He can slide up if he wants. Thaddeus self-clears himself on the bottom. Crossover move. Foster now on the outside here. He now has to fight up there. As I'm still kind of actually shocked because Jimmy, you got me good.
Well, I didn't have such good luck there in my little race, so I figured I'd make the trek up here to the booth, see how you guys are making out here tonight.
Oh, we don't mind the extra talking bit. I'm sure Dylan don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it is what it is. I like to talk. I do it all day at work. I give orientations at work. Hey, it's in my blood. It's in my nature. I just like to talk. That's just me. It's Kevin Foster round the outside, trying to get around Thaddeus Marshall, not able to do so. Here comes Carl Head. We're going to give him a little bit of a shove. No, he backs off of it just before the corner. Top 6 under a blanket, pretty much. Throw him up, see exactly what's going to end up happening. Kevin Foster goes way wide, going to drop all the way to the back. 3 wide. Made it work. Kevin Foster's in the fuel-saving mode now. Normally, whenever you see Kevin Foster fall to the back like that, he's like, all right, let's see how many laps I can make it while saving fuel. And obviously, Thaddeus Marshall going to be burning the most fuel out of these cars as compared to Kirby, Handwork, Parkhurst, The 46. I don't even know who the
That's
46 is.
That's
so
Tim Ponzi. He's
Ponzi.
trying to fight on that bottom. He's cleared almost. He almost cleared Parker's. Now trying to find on handwork. Seems to be doing great, but real quick, if Foster is saving, for how long I've been broadcasting, it's almost a guaranteed win for him. Let's be honest. That's a little bit of a moment.
Yeah, Tim Ponzi and Carl Edward getting a little bit close acquaintances there. I'm so used to the 46 being Adam Jones, I think it was, being the number 46 I almost said his name, and I would have been completely wrong.
The color is not correct for Adams. Usually was wasn't he black most of the time in his cars?
I think either that or like a royal blue or midnight blue, so somewhere out of there. I haven't seen Adam out here as we have a caution out on the racetrack. And it's going to be the number 96. I bet you his color's pink.
It is.
Oh, called it. I know Dane's
Oh.
super good. He's always got pink or blue. I'm surprised Dane hasn't put blue rims onto this number 96 machine. As that front end is crunched towards the front.
As we're going to take a peek and see what happened. As previously it showed Simpson passing Phelps here. Looks like almost of a tight wash. Actually, I think
looked like he had to check up and just it was a I believe Pointer in front of him going down deep in the corner. Pointer probably got tight and had to check up so he didn't get into the orange car there. And Dane was unable to quite get there, but little bump in the front there, kept it off the wall, kept going clean. So we'll see how Dane handles that damage when it comes to go.
and maybe just an extra tap in the right front, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean that's something you don't really want to see. You could have your all-star race pretty much go up in dreams. His front end doesn't really look that bad. He's not taking the fast repair. Looks like caution laps do not count. They don't count. So Dane could have sat in pit lane that whole time, got the front end fixed onto that number 96 machine, and not lost a complete lap. As they're going to go out here, and I believe Dane might get a black flag there due to coming out of pit lane and not staying below the blue line. So maybe seeing the number 96 going back to the back for unsafe pit exit.
But
Yeah, he might have got no flags flying for the 96 right now, but they so it must have been a close call there.
But definitely gonna mention how the rest of this race is gonna play out. We're gonna do some stage racing here tonight, which we don't do often here at Core really at all. Stage 1 and 2 are both gonna be 25 laps long at the end of the stage. At the end of stage 1, a random driver will receive an EOL penalty. So just throwing a little bit of a rock into somebody's day. At the end of stage 2, there will be a random invert from 0 to 10. So really, whoever's P1 to P10, consider that inverted at the end of stage 2. And then stage 3, 50 laps long. All drivers must make at least one 4-tire green flag pit stop during stage 3. So that throws strategy forcefully into the race here for a lot of these drivers here tonight, even considering with the field invert at the end of stage 2.
Okay, so that 96, so I decided to go back in, get those repairs done, and head back out on the track. I don't know if you guys are watching that, but so Dane Simpson making a call there as the field is back.
Oh, big wreck in the back! Lots of guys involved, and that's the Snowball Derby again, Dylan. Lots of front clips missing, and somebody must have checked up.
I think Tim Ponzi just did not get a good start in up and over. Yeah, we got yard sales going everywhere. I think I might run out of ink in my Sharpie permanent marker with all this autographs that we're going to be signing here. And I can tell you who it really benefited the most is Dane Simpson, who was coming out of pit lane. So that benefited him to a T. Is Tim Ponzi. Not the greatest of restarts there. It happens. It gets the best of us. just got caught sleeping or possibly was in the wrong gear getting up to the green flag.
Yeah, a lot of big hitters in that one. Kevin Foster, John Crane, Kelly Pointer, Tyler Krokeko, and obviously Tim Ponzi, having that rough restart there, and really can't catch you. And he was sitting there in that fourth place, just must have did a misshift.
Unfortunately, that was the case. I mean, that happens. I mean, you can ask Dylan with my truck stuff. I'll do that on a whim. Money shifting like it's nothing.
And that's why we call you Brendan Money Shift Polt.
Yeah.
We'll definitely
Daytona
stir
ring
things
in a
up here a little bit. That's for sure. So Thaddeus Marshall's still up front there, though, guys.
Yeah, Thaddeus Marshall still up front. Justin Kirby sitting P number 2. Carl Hedwork in P number 3 as the order decides to run all the way down and through. So once it gets back to the normal order, we'll go ahead and run it back down once again.
That yard sale was almost big enough to satisfy everybody's Christmas gifts now.
Yeah, see? It's satisfying everybody's Christmas gifts out here. I know maybe some of them not really wanting to give up those front clips, so maybe if you pay a little extra, they might be willing to throw in some extra stuff. Maybe the rear end of the car, maybe even a tire. Who knows? It can all be seen here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Hey,
What do
if
you
it could
guys
be
think about when these incidents happen like this early in the race? Those fast repairs obviously being used as, getting them cars back on a track. What is your guys' take on how you now approach this race?
Conservatively, if you don't have any more fast repairs, and we're only just past a 10th of this race, I would be very conservative. I'd probably end up being like Foster and not only saving fuel, but saving my car. But pace car lights are off. Thaddeus electing the outside lane once again. He had a good run last time before the restart basically descended into chaos, and he's going to get another good one here again. Kirby on that bottom lane, really no chance to fight that. As side by side a little bit further back, handwork on the bottom, Parker's up top. So far so good, single file. Or I don't know why I said single file, oh it's not, it's double. I must be crazy. As that is Metler on the bottom trying to do what he can to try and pass Parker's.
Yeah, it looked like Parker's was going to get in the wall coming off of turn number 4, but he didn't. And that is just the way it goes. We've seen it in the prelim race here tonight. People get a little bit tight off of turn number 4. And that's pretty much all that chill right there as Justin Kirby all over the back bumper of Thaddeus Marshall. Go to throw the crossover down to the inside, put Thaddeus on the outside, see what he could do. Carl Hedwork staying right in that draft as the top 3 try to pull away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, being out on that bottom, it really does. Just from being out there not too long ago, the car, if you take too much speed into the corner, it will wash up and get very tight. And the wall is not your friend, and you want to use as much momentum as possible. So you might have to, adjust that brake bias back just a little bit. Drag that rear end around just a little bit, get that front end to turn. But looks like Kirby is going to the inside of Marshall, and Handwork just kind of deciding who to go with.
Yeah, I kind of want to go where the momentum's at is pretty much the name of the game. Obviously, I can't say anything because I have no patience. I just want to hurry up and rush my way to the front. So, I mean, that'll be my, even if I don't even have a fast repair. Hey, screw it, I'm going to the front. Whether I got to knock the wall down or knock myself out, I'm going to the front.
Well, 83 laps remaining as 17 laps are in the books. So plenty of racing to go. So the patience, especially for those that have used the fast repair, is maybe something they don't want to use, but they should use.
Oh, they need patience at this point in the race. I mean, like we already mentioned, a lot of these guys don't have their fast repair. So it's kind of just a waiting game until the last 20 laps-isk or so, as Metler taking a peek on the bottom of Handwork. He's cleared Parker's for a while now, and Handwork is his new target. Basically just like target identified from Call of Duty. Right now it's ooh, a little close.
Brandon Metler last week, tour mods at Iowa, had the car to get there to get to Thad Marshall and Carl Handwerk just ran out of laps to do so. Took the longer pit than everybody else, but now top, I don't know, 8, 9 cars, all within striking distance to make their way up to the front. Dane Simpson on his way back up here, sitting P number 7.
Yeah, but we're also in this kind of stage of the race now that we've gone through a couple laps without a caution. Those engines are hot. Those things are probably warming up quicker than most people probably realize, especially if you're at Mettler's position on the bumper of Kirby there. That really have to watch that motor now at this stage of the race, or else you'll end up like you basically put that engine straight into a wall and it's gone.
Yeah, I mean, it really wasn't too bad out there as far as engine heating was going. A lot of fourth gear running, and you can really get into that fifth gear draft and keep your RPMs down and keep it cool. Unless you're right on the back bumper of somebody, then But yes, you're right though. You got to watch those temperatures. That some people just want to keep it in fourth gear because as them tires go, the car does not like to rotate, especially in fifth gear. So you're finding yourself dragging around a little bit. So when you tend to find yourself in fourth gear more than fifth. So, but these guys are doing a pretty good job. I see a little bit of bump drafting going up there from Mettler. Custom is out. It looks like again Kelly Pointer and Tyler Kokeko getting into it.
You are wrong, actually, not to be rude. This
Really?
is the stage caution. We have now completed
stage
lap
caution.
25, so the stage 1 has now been completed.
Oh,
So
that would call that.
yeah, that's the reason for caution. Now, I wonder if you guys could answer this question for me when it arrives. I wonder who his random EOL is gonna be. That's gonna be an interesting one to see. To watch Carl just pull out like the worst card possible and end up putting Thaddeus Marshall in the back.
I'm saying EOL to everybody. Everybody's going to start in the back. I'm going to start in the front, and I'm going to win this thing.
You can do
Well,
that next year,
everybody's
Dylan.
Everybody's gonna go ahead and come down to the pits. Mr. Kokeko is gonna stay out, along with a
Kokeko
few
stayed
other.
out?
Yeah, Kokeko, Pointer, and Carl Handwerk stayed out. So interesting call, or they will just go ahead and come back in. But that's gonna put them in the back of the pack if they decide to come in after everybody else does.
Now, watching the race off pit road, a lot of these guys elected to only take fronts. Were the fronts really an issue for you, Jimmy, running in that open race? Or was tires really an issue at all?
The outsides, they weren't, not like they were worn where they were gonna blow, but they got hot. And I could see them. It's an interesting call going with just fronts. Cars usually tend to handle like poop if you just go fronts or rears. So I'm interested in seeing if they're the only ones that if they took ones, or maybe they only took like the right front. I don't know.
Maybe.
So because the whole front of the car, because this. It looks like John Crane will be moving to the front of the pack.
Really?
Yes, that's what was just called over driver chat. So everybody will be driving through pit entry, and John Crane will head to the front.
So good to see John Crane back out here. After his surgery, getting back out here and racing with us again. Good to see him back out here. And he does got a little bit of damage on that front of the number 11 machine, but
yeah, John
what
does.
it is.
John's thoroughly enjoys racing and getting out here, and have had plenty of races with that guy. And yeah, good shout there for the number 11. It's good to see him out front. But that damage on that 11, I don't know how long he'll stay there. So,
Well, one can dream, being how long it may end up being, at least. One can dream. As actually, it's a single file restart because pace car lights are off. Waiting on, pace car drops down. Waiting on John Crane now, who is our restart. He's going to give it all the way to Barney. Green flag is out here once again to signify the start of Stage 2. Here for the All-Star race of the Core Premier Series. Carl Handwerk already all over the gearbox of Crane. And then it's just a train for the rest of the way on back. Single file. Crane's going to go high. Going to lose the P1 spot. and gonna keep dropping back. Ponzi to P2, Kokeiko in P3, and Crane. Yeah, that damage is proving too much for him right now as he's getting freight trained on that outside.
Yeah, damage is really a mess there. But all them blue cars look good together.
Yeah, yeah. All of them being there, and I think Crane noticed how underpowered he really was, so he just moved out of the way. Wants to save himself for the end of the stage. Probably use that fast repair if he's got it in his back pocket. Get back out there and run some more. So John Crane just trying to survive a stage number 2 as it got a little bit spicy there coming out of turn number 4. Oh,
3 wide, almost 4. Wow, oh, contact.
Tyler
Kokeiko
3
goes
wide.
for a ride.
Oh, there goes Dane. He's going for a ride. Caution.
Wow, Dane's barely gonna keep that out of the wall, but I can't really say the same for Kokeiko, unfortunately.
Yeah, number 37 definitely had a yard sale going on.
We're gonna take a peek and see what happened to him. As, like, hopefully I can click on the right one.
Yeah, it looked like Tyler Kokeiko just got together a little bit with Thaddeus Marshall, just enough to kind of, upset that car, send him sideways, catch the nose off the wall, and send him back down into the pits.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is a lot of damage as he was sent spinning, and really just that front clip is gone. It doesn't look like he has a fast repair to use.
Well, I mean, he has that towing that he has to use, so we'll see if Tyler's got that fast repair and be able to get back out here before because caution laps aren't counting. So, maybe you can take that tow and get back out there.
Keep forgetting about that.
I don't know about y'all, but these cars sound like little Hornets or front-wheel drives, as me up here in the Midwest would call a Hornet. We would call them a front-wheel drive outlaw. It just sounds like a swarm of bees going around you. And, I mean, that is all I've been listening to in these cars, and I don't know. It's just like kind of music to my ears, being from the Midwest and always being around those type of cars. But it's they look like they sound like they're going to be fast, but then they're really slow.
Unfortunately,
I mean, they're not really too bad. I think it was pushing about 105 miles an hour or so. So like an oversized go-kart.
It's funny. That's the exact same analogy we made earlier at the start of the stream. But
yeah, I mean that's pretty much what they look like, a full-bodied go-kart, and the only way that you can get out is obviously you got to climb out. But full-bodied go-kart, no open wheels, obviously like last week, but still, I mean, you get up underneath somebody on a restart that we've seen in the open or the beginning of this race, that can cause big problems out here for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, it's amazing some of these cars that are on the iRacing service, and I mean, you can really get some good racing with these. Just understanding how they handle, and you get the right drivers out there, and but they're so sensitive about taking damage, and it really does stink when something small happens and it ruins your whole entire race.
But green flag is now going to come back out. Tim Ponzi with the green flag in hand. Doesn't get as good of a start as Thaddeus normally does. I am proven wrong very quickly because Brandon Mettler did not get as good of a start as Ponzi did, and now he's trying to hold on to that P2 position from Thaddeus Marshall, charging on that outside lane. Got a 4-car train on the outside lane with him, and Mettler's got nothing behind him for a couple more car lengths. As his next car behind him is Dane Simpson, but that's about 3 car lengths he has to make up. And Thaddeus just has a guy on his bumper. That is Mark Parker's trying to do what he can to get around Ponzi.
So Mark Parker's really tuck underneath Thaddeus Marshall, trying to push him back up to the front. I think Dane Simpson is a little more on the cautious side. So, there's a wreck going on.
Dan Phelps gonna get turned there. No caution is out. As no front clip, tires are broken. As Dan Phelps gonna go ahead and take this car into pit lane. Has to go all the way around. He's gonna keep it down to the inside. He's back up on the track. And a tough break for that number 85 machine, as he was our tonight's
There he
fan vote
comes.
winner. There he comes. He's
So
down to
stay
the
on the
inside. He
bottom.
gets out of the way. And he's going to put that number 85 machine into pit lane, hopefully this time by. As I'm looking at the left front of that car, and yeah, there's just no wheel rotation. And Dan Phelps is actually going to keep it out there. He doesn't even want to try to go to pit lane.
23.
Oh,
little
Parker's.
squirrely.
Ooh, that was
Nice catch.
a great save too. I mean, you see that rear end swiggle a bunch of times. Definitely was not stable at all, but he managed to keep that car
Ew.
going. As the broadcast looking from Kevin Foster's point of view on the roll bar, and I could hear Foster. He's lifted a lot more than everybody else. He's in fuel saving mode. So based off natural events, expect him to win this race here tonight.
Never know with Kevin Foster. He's back there. He's in the draft. But he's sitting back to a point where he's not out of it. So, but he's allowing stuff to happen. You can catch, hit the brake and catch his car, or let the people wreck in front of him and avoid it. But that's what it takes to kind of like sit back there and just have great patience. And 96 checking up a little bit. Chris checking up. Oh, Chris checking up as well. Almost getting into Kevin Foster, but. Wow, that was close.
Oh, Dane Simpson all the way down the apron. He's got a clear
Dane
track
Simpson
behind him, though, so
has
he's going to be fine.
Too many incidents who will have to.
Oh,
serve his
he's
penalty.
sideways on the apron. He managed to keep that on the bottom. No caution for Simpson. He's going to serve that black flag, as you mentioned. That was a moment for Simpson, you must say.
Yeah, a little bit of a ride coming down the pits as just trying to clear his. He came up with the radio really quick and said that he was going down to the inside in order to do his drive-through. So he's going to end up going a lap down here, and no way to really get it back unless he is the only one a lap down. And I believe if the caution comes out, they will do kind of like a wave around and let him go by once. So we'll see if Dane can get back up on the lead lap, as he was doing pretty decent as he got involved early at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, doing fairly well as that number 76 machine goes all the way down to the inside, gets the run, and moves his car back up to the outside to take advantage of the run. But obviously, with cars in front of you, 2 lanes already being used, it's kind of hard to put your car anywhere else that doesn't have a car. As the 46 going to give a big shot from the number 15 machine, as Thaddeus Marshall has checked out to a 1.2 second lead. These drivers back here side by side try to draft. And at what point would you want to say, all right guys, let's just get into a long line and try to track down that number 4 machine?
Not within the next 6 laps, because it is now 5 to go to the end of stage number 2. So as of right now, these guys are just trying to fight for little positions here and there. But theoretically, you wouldn't want that, because if I read the rules for the end of stage 2 correctly, top 10 is inverted. So actually, maybe that's what Foster's trying to do. He understands that top 10 gets inverted, so while he's saving fuel, he'll also get inverted to the front of the field. Which, if that's the case, that is 200 IQ. So Medler almost contact with Ponzi. That almost ended very badly, as Ponzi would have been turned right in front of Handwork. But no contact, or really no accident, I should say, as Medler is trying to fight on that outside lane. As Handwork trying to defend on the bottom, Sullivan just watching a little bit further on back. As coming to, I believe this is the white flag for the stage. And then once Marshall comes by, there'll be 1 full lap under green and the caution, technically, to let everybody go by through as racing.
Next
But
lap lap 50 should be the white flag.
Alright.
Should be. Like here, this should be the white flag. So caution should come back out next time they cross the start-finish line.
I think maybe that's what Dan Phelps was waiting on too. I mean, he only lost 2 laps with him spitting out and having that yard sale down to the inside. Ponzi and the 18 getting together. Hand ponds, I guess we could call them there.
And there's the
Together
caution.
once again. It's almost a wild and bumpy ride there. Luckily, Tim Ponzi able to keep the car under control, as that is going to be the end of stage number 2.
Now,
Yeah, so
let's.
this next stage is going to be a little more tricky as they will be required to do a stop.
That I mean, pit stop under green 2. That's definitely going to throw a big wrench in your plans. You know, you could have the biggest lead of all leads, and then all of a sudden, well, when do you want to pit?
Yeah, you're
And
going a lap. You're going a lap down. I mean, that's
yeah,
just gonna happen. You know, it's just a nature of the beast. And can everybody out there keep it going cleanly and not bring out a caution while you're taking your pit stop? Because if not, you could go that lap down and be stuck. So we'll see how things come out. But I guess the big thing is if you're already in the pits and the caution comes out, it does count as your stop. So for the other guys that, for the other guys that didn't, I mean, then they're kind of stuck. And you know, with I'm not quite sure on the fuel load, but I believe, well, we know they can go at least the 25 laps, and I'm almost positive if they're still at 25%, they will be able to go the whole 50 lap race, the rest of the race.
well, I'm just going to pull a Bobby Labonte back in the 90s where I just pit on the very last lap and hope that my pit stall is before the start finish line. So that way, once I'm done, I can just hurry up and cross it. And then I could be declared the winner. Who knows?
True statement.
Yeah,
But-
see, there's always some strategy going in there, but you got to make sure that your pit stall is behind the line, because obviously you got to be able to get into your pit stall, make your green flag pit stop, and then cross the line after. So
I don't think there's a rule where you have to pit by a certain lap.
No, it just had to be under green, and that obviously, you know, let's say you started P number 1, like Thad, he would have pit box number 1. He wouldn't be able to do it just because obviously his pit stall is going to be after the start finish line. So that would be considered a DQ. So maybe about 10th or 11th, maybe you'd be able to get away with it. But other than that, I don't know. It's kind of hard. I couldn't tell you the last time I actually put a car on a Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yeah,
But-
so as of right now, with the field, just kind of let you fans know what's going on. They are going to go green here, but they are going to stay single file. They're going to allow some of the drivers that are laps down to get back up on the lead lap, and while they're doing that, they're going to roll their random invert and see how many people are going to get inverted and what the actual lineup's going to be. So just be maybe a lap or two as they figure out what position they all need to be in. So just kind of be patient here as these guys kind of do their little bit of randomness as makes this race really fun.
But to answer your question a little bit earlier, Jimmy, about the max fuel load is 25% for the Spec Ford. So
Yeah, so these drivers will not have to pit technically, but they do have to stop. They do have to take 4 tires, and they'd have to go.
Mark Parkhurst is your race leader. Invert was number 10. Mark Parkhurst able to put himself all the way up to the front. And Brendan, you called 10. 10 is going to be the magic number, and Mark Parkhurst is that magic number. So I believe it's 10th on back from it's going to be the invert. So, I mean, yeah, I'd rather it be 10th through 13th instead of 4th through 13th, because then obviously Mettler would be all the way in the back where he's going to be starting P number 5.
look at Mettler, or not Mettler, Foster. Like I said, I mean, wasn't didn't I think like his strategy was to try and be in the back and then rely on the invert to jump himself back up while fuel saving while being in the back? I told you he was trying to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it can definitely be something to go here. Is Brandon Mettler taking his time? Is everybody getting it back into line? And we're going to go back to green flag racing.
Now, technically, we're not under caution right now, so It will be
Yeah.
under Carl's command or the restart zone. As I believe since they're double foul, we will be going
It'll
restarting
be green
now.
on Parker, so Parker's
Yep.
is on the loud pedal, so this field is off and running for the remainder of the race. So let's see how they can do.
Yeah, Parker's, look at that jump though. That's a great start. Obviously got through the gears very quickly and early, as P2 is Kelly Pointer and Christopher Hamilton is P3 technically. Both of them started a little bit further mid-pack. They're doing pretty good. We haven't really talked about them too much either tonight. So they are doing just fine for their situations right now. As he's still trying to fight on that bottom lane. As Pointer, the contact. 3 wide in the turn 1. Foster on the bottom. Handwork in the middle. Pointer up top. Pointer's going to bail out. That's going to put Handwork on the top line. Foster still trying to fight it on that bottom. Trying to see if he can take P3 away. So far, not going to work though.
Look at the side draft that Carl Handwork gave the number 8 machine going through the corner. I mean, you couldn't even fit a piece of paper in between those two drivers. And, you know, it's kind of risky business, especially with the net code being a big factor in iRacing. And, you know, I wouldn't trust it. I don't like doing it in a stock car, road car. Well, not really road car because, you know, I don't like road. But just anything that, you know, obviously you got to make sure that, you know, one, you give a little bit of room. If you're going to side draft, you don't want to be right up on that side of somebody and have that position come out to where you could potentially get that net code, send the person up into the wall, and then you'll end up having that going. As it looks like the 58 of Justin Kirby going down to the pit lane this time by. So getting his pit stop done and over with early here at Bristol.
Yeah, the caution could come out now, and he would be considered done and completed. So right now there is a battle up for front between Hamilton, Carl Handwork, and Mark Parkhurst. You got Kevin Foster in there, Thad Marshall, and Ponzi not letting them go. These boys are fighting and looking to, you know, stay too wide, kind of keep things going. Carl doesn't want to. Looks like Carl wants to get up front, but he's in a good spot right now. There's plenty of laps remaining. Still have 39 laps remaining here. As Carl Handwork dives to the inside underneath that 22, but he's going to wash out just a little bit. Going to chase that 23 up. It's going to slow him down. So
3 wide for P2. Almost 4. Ooh. Almost 4 wide for P2 for a second. Thaddeus is going to get that spot out of turn 4 for P2. Still 3 wide for P3. Parker's on that outside lane. He's going to get that good run off. Hamilton on the bottom. Tim Bonzi in the middle. Nobody giving an inch or giving the spot away. Apparently, for a lot of these guys, it's go time.
I do like what Tim Ponzi's doing, though. He knows that he's 3 wide, but he's giving majority of the room to Mark Parker. So if he does get in the wall, he's got time to react and catch the car. Normally, whenever you're 3 wide, you kind of, depending on, you know, single monitor over here, you can't see the side of your car, so you don't know exactly how close you really are. But Tim Ponzi doing what he needed to do, giving Mark Parker's just enough room, just in case if he did hit the wall, he didn't get collected into it. And Tim Ponzi makes his way up to P3.
Yeah, but new leader 18, Carl Handwork out front with Thaddeus Marshall behind him. Tim Ponzi sitting back there in that P number 3. Only taker to pit lane right now is that number 58 of Justin Kirby, trying to use that to maybe his advantage here early on, as he is the only driver that has come down the pit lane for the required pit stop.
That still
Joe
leaves...
Sullivan actually came down too. Joe Sullivan actually spun it out going into pit lane and got it back going. So once Justin Kirby went into pit lane, Joe Sullivan ended up spinning out. I was like, oh no, Jimmy just called it. Don't have a caution, and we're about to have one. As no harm, no foul. He's back going again, but just 2 laps down, which is going to be easy to regain once these drivers make their pit stops. As John Crane into pit lane this time by.
John Crane getting his required pit stop out of the way early. Also, Carl Handwork still leading this thing on pretty well with Thaddeus. Not really backing off, but also not passing. So I wonder if Thaddeus is trying to just apply some pressure, force Carl into a mistake, and maybe assume an early lead after all the pit stops.
Well, after
Well,
watching it last, sorry, Jimmy, go ahead, buddy. I don't want to
no,
cut
no.
you off.
No. It's just a matter of it's driver style right now. You're in a good spot. There's plenty of laps remaining. There's 29 laps remaining here. As we just finished lap 70 or 71. So yeah, these guys here are probably just trying to stretch out that lead. But look at that as we're talking. Tires spark
Yeah.
goes out of the inside.
Almost a little bit of contact.
cut there. Now, if you watched last week, these two had one of the greatest battles I've seen, especially in a tour mod at Iowa. Iowa tour mod, same car, just kind of know where to go with it. I mean, they run the exact same lap times and speed, kind of like what we're seeing here tonight. You get a good run, but it'll take you a couple of laps just to get clear of the driver that you're trying to pass in these two. Carl Hedwick and Thaddeus Marshall, big battle last week where Thad ended up getting down on the apron and lost all the momentum that he had on Carl, and Carl was able to capture that season, or the 5th season, or drive for 5. There we go. Can't talk. As Thad looking all over the back bumper, kind of playing the fuel strategy with Kevin Foster. Is pretty much everybody single filed on out. A little bit of a battle back here as Christopher Hamilton makes his way down to the pit lane this time by.
Yeah, now pit stops are definitely going to be in the full swing here sometime soon. As we're coming to 20 to go here left this race. You got to find that sweet spot almost. When's the right time to pit where you still have fresh tires at the end of the race, but you're not pitting too early and you're not pitting too late. There's very much a sweet spot for a track like Bristol here. So really, you just gotta have to guess right and get into your box, get into pit road just right and about pretty much perfect in order to gain any spots you may have wanted later on in the race. As Thaddeus is trying to increase that gap.
They're asking for a caution. Not sure what's going on, but Kevin Foster is stopped on the racetrack. I'm gonna look back here, see what happens to the number 8 machine. Oh, gets into the binders just a little bit too much. Overcorrects back up on the racetrack. Oh, catches Joe Sullivan. And that's why Joe Sullivan was looking for the caution, because Joe Sullivan got involved. Oh, woe is me.
And then there's Dane on the bottom too. If Sullivan got pushed down anymore, that's where he would be. But yellow flag is out. So that caution will be provided. But this will not count for the guy's pit stop. If I'm not mistaken, the pit stop has to be under green.
Ooh, that was a tough one from Joe.
Yeah, I mean, just that overcorrection from Kevin Foster. I mean, Kevin Foster had him locked down once he started going back. Once he goes back the other way, it just didn't really help either way. But still, I mean, you can only do so much to try to avoid anybody that's spinning back up on the racetrack.
Yeah, so anybody at Panda? No, it all panned out here for the vehicles that went in, that were made this year. But with caution flag laps not counting, I wonder how they're gonna play this out when it comes down to getting laps back and who's where.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna play this one. I mean, it's pretty much half the field is a lap to 2 laps down, so maybe Carl's got a generous heart here tonight, and Carl obviously rigs everything.
Well, no, I mean I know that Justin Kirby and Chris Hamilton, some of those drivers have already come down and get their stops, and they want a lap down, but caution laps don't count.
Yeah,
So
Justin Kirby was actually the first one to do it, like 10 laps into the run, if that, and then Chris Hamilton started going as well. So I would think maybe they would do a couple of wave arounds, but as it looks right now, I don't think they are. Brandon Meller's going to be the one to get the wave around coming to 2 to green. He's going to be able to go around the pace car and catch back up to the field.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how this is going to be handled, to be honest.
Will certainly be something interesting to see, because one minute we may see
Well-
Handwork in the lead, the next we may see him in the back. I don't know.
Well, Carl still has to come into the pits, you know, so... But now Kirby is no longer, like, really far behind. Now he's right on his back bumper. So, I mean, the guys that come in are still going to go a lap down. They're still going to end up on the lead lap. But will this benefit, Kirby as, his fuel's lighter, and, he's already out on the track. So, we'll see. It's really kind of interesting. I was really sitting there kind of thinking about, like, how's this going to work out? But I guess it all works out in the end if the other cars still need to pit while under green.
Yeah, because if that's the case, then the laps will be come back by natural anyways. But pace car lights are off once again here on lap 79, coming to lap 80. Drops down to pit road. Handwork with the green flag in his hand. Thaddeus Marshall on the outside. Good start by Handwork. Probably be able to clear him before the turn one. He will. Single file in the top 3. A little bit further back, though, P4 is side by side. That's Tim Ponzi and that's Tim Ponzi and Dan Phelps. A lot of guys taking the pit stops. No, there goes Thaddeus.
Oh no!
That is no caution there. I'm surprised that everybody else made it through that. That's actually now caution is out once again.
Yeah, so Kelly Pointer, the one calling it out, getting down in the pits. I don't know. Did he get down in there?
Ooh, seeing a little bit of frustration from the 11 of John Crane. Caution was out. He made sure to catch back up to the number 46, give a little bit of a shot. Not sure if he had gotten one in return. Made him just a little bit upset, but both drivers keeping it straight. Just a little love tap. Let them know, hey, we got this. Yeah, that was, oof. Thad Marshall clearing the inside wall and wondering if he got wet while he hit those tire barrels. Or no, I guess not tire barrels, but water barrels.
I mean, if you didn't have a tear off for your helmet, I mean, I guess that's one way to clear your face mask.
Yeah, that is true. Or, now, here's the thing. Are they filled with sand or are they filled with water?
I think it's sand. Like, actually, I think it's sand.
Because I know some tracks do water, other tracks do sand. Like, I know Watkins Glen, the pit road entry is sand. Indianapolis, you don't have one. So you better hope that you can get into pit lane and don't pull a Mark Martin like you did at Michigan and tear the back half of the car off. I mean, it's just a lot that you can do. Especially, it's just, I really want to go to a racetrack and just open up one of those barrels and really see which one it was. Like, I will drive. Well, I'm not driving it. Well, I think Michigan's got them. Michigan's about an hour and a half away from me, so I can go up to Brooklyn, Michigan, and look in their barrels, and I can send you guys a picture and be like, all right, can't confirm. It is sand at bigger ovals like Michigan. Thad Marshall coming out of pit lane, probably used that fast repair for his recent spin, and all I heard over the driver comms was 75 pitting in, and then that's when I started seeing Thaddeus Marshall go around and hit the inside of barriers.
Yeah, it was a pretty. I think it was just like I don't know. I think he was decided to go in. I don't know. He went way down on the apron. And the 75 ended up getting loose as well. So, like, I think they were just coming in super, super hot. And did not work out for them, too.
Now, in the event, okay, well, let's put it like this. Let's say we keep having cautions for drivers trying to get into pit lane. in the event that these drivers can't get the green flag pit stop going down, how would they rule that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because that
I
could be a possibility.
I mean, right now, I mean, you have 19 laps to go. You have to get it down to the pits. If you didn't make that call already, you might want to be thinking about doing, you know, I don't even think Pointer made it down to hit that last pit stop as they were going too fast. So, just unprepared, as these cars do not have ABS. They do not stop very well, and the slow down. So you hear the 96 calling out that he's pitting in this time. So we'll see what goes on here.
It's all a guessing game, and obviously you want to get in and get out and have them get in and get out quickly without a caution being called. And a little hesitant restart there from everybody, giving enough room. And not sure if they're talking all in Discord, like, all right, look, I'm pitting in this time. Don't be on my back bumper. Is Thad Marshall is going to go in and almost, nope, he's not going to go in. I lied. 3 wide, maybe no. Dan Phelps going to back it down and sit right back down in behind. The 46 almost gets rear-ended by Justin Kirby. The 18 going to go into pit lane this time by Tim Ponzi, going to go in with Thad Marshall. Finally
18
gets it in.
to 4. Both of them coming down in.
Well, that is a much better pit entry for the number 4, I shall say. Insert golf clap there for the number 4.
The 4, the 46, the 4 to 18, all had came down, as well as see Parkhurst at 23 was in as well. So a lot of drivers making their stops, trying to get back out there. See how things are rolling here.
Kelly Pointer is the last one that is yet to pit, I believe. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but everybody else is a lap down to him. So really just wait on him to pit, and then everybody will be on the lead lap.
Yeah, looking at it now, I'm watching Tim Ponzi. He's still in the pit lane. He took fuel. Tim Ponzi took fuel. They finally jacked up the front. Front's back down. Back is getting ready to go on up now. And a big championship implications there. As I'm looking now, Brandon and Jimmy, you can tell me if I'm wrong here, but is Kelly Pointer the only one on the lead lap as of right now?
Yes. He is. It's good strategy so far for him.
Yes, 75, and then Brandon Mettler is 1 lap down. So, and then it goes Joe Sullivan, Justin Kirby, Dan Phelps, and Chris Hamilton, and then back to Carl Handwerk. So, yeah, so right now, looking who's sitting in a pretty good situation is that number 15 of Brandon Mettler. But I don't know if Brandon's pitted yet, or if he pitted and it counted.
I believe he had, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know about Pointer, though. If Pointer hasn't pitted in, he's a lead ahead. He's not? Okay.
I don't have SDK up in order to be able to tell and see who's pitted when.
Well, I can go in through here and look really quick. So pit stop lap. Kelly Porter last pit of lap number 80. But I believe that was when the caution flew. Mettler pit on lap number 76. So I believe Mettler's good to go.
If it was a lap, not under caution. Mettler. Race. You said 76.
Yes, sir. 76.
Let's go to his 76. Let's see if they were under the caution.
So far, though, Pointer doing all that he can, but if you need any AMSOIL products, contact this man in the lead right now. Probably yet to pit, but doing well for his company. If you need any AMSOIL, contact Kelly Pointer, and he'll get you all set up. Still leading on with 5 to go here. Or, no, excuse me, 6 to go. So, he just has to hold on. But if we're right, he still has to pit under the green flag. Or he's just trying to win. and then have himself get disqualified and drop to the bottom. I don't know.
You know, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, there's 5 laps to go. And Kelly Pointer last pit on lap 80. So maybe Kelly Pointer's good to go. Maybe he's not. I guess we'll find out here with 3 laps to go to see if he goes in at any point during this time.
Phelps is in, so
I'm
they're
not
probably
sure
off the same
why.
strategy.
Well, they had a caution, and Mettler was in front of the leaders, laps down. That's why he was able to get one of his laps back.
But even then, that would... if... You lose only, what, 2 laps if you take fuel, right?
Yeah.
You lose 3.
3.
No,
Tim
it's
Ponzi lost 4, actually.
Interesting.
Well, he took.
Oh, respect the
Yeah,
wall in
yeah.
the final lap. The pressure's getting to him. Maybe he has pitted and the pressure's coming. I don't know. He almost killed his car, though. This is before the final lap. He's going to come through turns 3 and 4, though. For the final time, unofficially, Kelly Pointer is your all-star winner here tonight for the Cora Premier Series. P2, Brandon Mettler. P3, Justin Kirby. P4, Joseph Sullivan. P5, Carl Hamworth. P7, Christopher Hamilton. P8 is Mark Parker. P9, Tim Ponzi. P10, John Crane. That is your unofficial top 10. As we'll see if that changes at all with Pointer's pit stops.
Oh, no. Kelly Pointer is not the race winner.
Mettler?
It would be Mettler, yeah. Because I'm looking at lap number 80. He gets in a pit lane and he's sitting in his box, and then a caution came out. They are discussing it right now.
Well,
But it was supposed to go back out and go back in under green flag conditions.
was he already sitting? Did he get into his box while the green flag was still up? Like, was his car parked when the green flag started? Or when the green flag was still going, I should say, because in the NASCAR world, if that rule existed, you'd be fine.
Well, I'll go talk to Mr. Carl Handwick real quick and get it all figured out and get you an official top 3.
Yeah, so while he does that, congratulations to all the drivers out there that participated. Again, thank you to all the viewers out there that continue to support CRN. And I know these Dylan and Brendan, do a fantastic job here on Sunday nights, and the premiere season ending, and then Brendan's taking lead role on the premiere series on Sundays. So,
All right.
maybe we'll find you a co-host up here, and for a few of those races, so you're not up here by yourself every Sunday night. So as Dylan will be taken to the track. But yeah, congratulations to everybody that participated tonight. Tonight was a fun night. Again, thank you to the viewers and all the sponsors that the Core Racing guys have put out there. So like Pointer Motor, Ames Oil, and everybody else that has chipped in. And also again, thank you to everybody. They're about to do another race next weekend, where it's a competition where they got teams and they race at a few different tracks, and they raised money to basically help Core out for like their website and some of the broadcasting stuff that we do as well. So, but a lot of the good things coming up here with CRN, a lot of new leagues that'll be starting up here shortly, and be looking forward to giving broadcast coverage to those leagues and series. But again, Brandon, you probably don't hear it enough, and especially from me, thank you for stepping in here with Dylan here on Sunday nights.
It's all good, man. But Dylan's back in with some breaking news. Dun dun dun.
All right. So Kelly Porter is not your race winner.
Okay.
It
You said that.
will. Kelly Porter will go. I honestly don't know where he's going to end up finishing. But your new top three is going to be Brandon Mettler, Justin Kirby, and Joe Sullivan for your top three here tonight. So pretty much everybody just moves up one more spot in the order. Just with him going into pit lane, it was under green at the time of him getting in there and sitting in his box. So then, while he was taking his green flag pit stop, the caution came out, and he had to end up coming back out after his pit stop and under green flag had to make another pit stop. So Kelly Pointer is not your race winner. It's going to be Brandon Mettler getting the race win here tonight.
As we're waiting on these guys to make it to the broadcast waiting room.
Well, let's see if I can find Joe Sullivan. Not
Just,
finding
just
it.
snag him.
Well, I'll just snag this second place finisher here. We're going to go ahead and grab Mr. Justin Kirby. Justin, this is Dylan, Jimmy, and Brendan in the broadcast booth. You got a copy.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, with all the stuff that has happened here tonight, you ended up snagging P number 2 due to the caution coming out here. But, man, what an absolute phenomenal race for you. You were up towards the front. And then you timed the pit stop perfectly. You only ran about 6-7 laps. Ended up going into pit lane right after the after the start of stage or the last stage, and that pretty much you had that sitting in your back pocket the rest of the night.
Well, it wasn't good enough because I don't know what happened with iRacing scoring, but I was ahead of Brandon when that caution came out, and for some reason it put him ahead of everybody, and he got the free pass. I'm like, I that's what I was trying to do. but what boggled my mind is like I was ahead of him when that happened, but it let him by me even though we were on the same lap. So I'm like, what in the world? And I'm kind of stewing on that. I'm happy I got second, but I should have won. And grr.
Yeah, I mean, it's always one of those things like, what if? And that's exactly what ended up happening here. I mean, it's Bristol and the Spec Racer. You did what you had to do. You overcome a lot of adversity here tonight. Obviously not getting the race win that you wanted. But I mean, still a strong P number 2 in an all-star race, no points, just having fun. And it just definitely can't wait to see what you do in whatever series you decide to come back for in the Core Racing League. And can't wait to see you back down there on the track.
Yeah, 10-4. I've seen a lot of stuff in my years of racing, and I will say this is a first for me. Um, but I mean, it's a good time. These guys, for being a newer league, for being newer, comparatively speaking, um, things are set up really well here for a lot of success, and um, it's going. It's just yeah, it's just good to be a part of it, and I'll be here for Dover for the Xfinity cars, so I'm planning on finishing out that season at least.
Yeah, definitely go to enjoy seeing you being out there in the Xfinity series. But Justin, before I let you get on out of here, is there anybody on that number 58 machine you'd like to give a shout out to?
I just want to say thanks to my guys at Black Magic Motorsports with my brother Brent, Trevor Hunt, the oh my god, I am brain farting on my other guys.
Did you have a birthday or something and get Alzheimer's when you had that or something, there, buddy?
I've had Alzheimer's for 20 years. I don't need any more help. But Tommy and the other boys are just it's been fun running with them.
All right, Justin, we're going to go ahead and let you get on out of here. Celebrate that second place finish here tonight. And we'll be seeing you on the track on Tuesday with the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, 10-4. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
You too.
Later.
All right, that's going to be our second place finisher. Third place finishers now down to the broadcast waiting room. So I'll go ahead and grab them here for everybody to speak to them. Come on, work. Thank you. And now we're going to be joined by Joe Sullivan in the number 76. Joe, this is Dylan, Brendan, and Jimmy in the booth. You got a copy.
Yes, sir. How's it going, boys?
All right, I did second place. I'll go ahead and let one of you boys take over our third place finisher here tonight.
The
Well, if
awkward
anybody wants to speak, I'll speak. Joe, you know,
s-
it's no, you're no stranger here to the booth, and you're definitely not a stranger to core racing. Looks like you had a good time out there running, and you played your cards right, and you ended up with a third place to finish. So why don't you maybe run down maybe what the viewers out there couldn't see, and how you conquered and became basically finishing in the third place. What was your strategy?
Well, we had to go through the open and had a nice little run there and ended up winning that thing. And the car felt really good in that thing. And then we got to the race here, and first couple segments, the car was just way different. It was so much tighter on entry, and I was trying to figure that out. And then my strategy there in the third segment was to pit early to mainly just to get some clean air, because I was a lot faster with some clean air, and to maybe make up time that way, to pit early and get some clean air, and try to make up some time on those guys when they ended up having to pit later. But we ran into a little bit of a problem there, and I think Foster was trying to pit and lost control and just had nowhere to go, and had pummeled him and had to use a fast repair. But
Yeah,
caution came out, and we just kept battling and tried to hold off Kirby there at the end, but he just had something figured out that I didn't have figured out quite yet, with the air on these cars, and he got around us there for a second.
Yeah, it's definitely not a car that we use every day, and it's probably not a car many people use in the service. But if you're part of the core racing, we use about pretty much anything. But again, congratulations, man! It's good to see you out there. Glad you had a good time. Congratulations on the win for the first part of the evening, and we'll give you a little bit of time if you got any shout outs or thanks that you may have.
I just want to give a shout out to you guys. I've been in Dylan booth for broadcasting all year, and excited for this is my first full season in the Premier League or Premier Series, and really excited for next year. It's fun. I like the challenge of different car, different track, and like you said, this car isn't really used a lot, but I love Bristol. Bristol's like my favorite track, and I'll race anything there. So thank you guys, and ready for next year, next season.
All right, sounds good, Joe. We'll let you get out of here and go celebrate that third place finish.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's going to be our third place finisher of Joe Sullivan. And Brendan, you're going to go ahead and move on with our race winner as he's now joined the broadcast booth. Brandon, this is Brendan, Dylan, and Jimmy at the broadcast booth. You got a copy.
I got you.
Too many of them. But so obviously the unofficial winner was Kelly Pointer. You ended up unofficially finishing second, but since Pointer never really finished his pit stop under the green flag condition, you basically inherited the lead. Were you aware of that mid race, or did you just kind of assume you were second until Carl kind of tells you, "Hey, you won"?
Well, I wasn't necessarily keeping track of who did and who didn't have the pit stop yet. All I knew was that I was exiting the pits at a very, very, very opportune time, just compared to everybody else in time that when that caution came out. But yeah, nevertheless, just really didn't do anything but keep a fast line, listen to my black box during cautions, and turn left all race, and that's kind of how it worked out, I guess.
Well, with these kinds of cars, it's just kind of a lift and turn. I mean, I heard from, I believe it was Sullivan, he mentioned the car was very tight on entry. Was it the same for you, or was it loose, if anything? Because I know there's a little bit of chaos earlier that could have changed that very easily.
Well, it kind of depends how you're driving the track. When I was usually trying to save fuel and keep the engine cool, I was running the fifth gear and running the middle line, and it really didn't have, just pushing tight the whole way through the turn, the whole way through the track. So when you're down in fourth gear and you're riding, the bottom line, the top line like you would on a normal track by yourself, it wasn't too bad. But if you're stuck on that bottom side and you really can't get an arc down into the turn, that's kind of where it hurts you. So I could definitely see where it was tight on entry. It's tight on exit, in my opinion, the whole time, no matter what gear, what line you're running. So that's pretty much my biggest battle. But if you're running fourth gear and you could get that big arc to the corner, it wasn't too bad. But like I said, if you're stuck on the bottom side by side, it was pretty tough.
Well, I mean, you can't go wrong with a win any time of the week, man. But before we get you on Alley here to celebrate your P1s, anybody like to thank on that number 15 machine?
Yeah, for sure. Got to thank Band Racing Videos, YouTube, Facebook, all those different outlets. Got to thank Five Kings Motorsports over Five Kings Motorsports sponsors, EPI, The Butt Kicker, True Sim Productions, Savage Edge Apparel, and USAFirearms.com. Obviously, got to thank you guys for giving us a broadcast, and for Carl and Kevin and everybody else out on the admin team for putting this thing on.
All right. Well, again, congratulations on that, people, and hopefully we'll see you next week for the Drivers' Cup if you're involved in that. So hopefully we'll see you then.
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
That was the P1 finisher of Brandon Metler, and that concludes the All-Star race here tonight for the Core Premier Series. Before we get this on out here, guys, anything you guys want to say? I mean, pretty chaotic throughout most of it. I mean, it was pretty good till after the third stage finish.
I mean,
Yeah, I
anytime
mean-
you, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Me and Dylan are thinking on the same wavelength, but anytime you get the drivers together, you just have a good time. Over here at Core Racing, and Justin was talking about how that we do run multi classes, and we heard Joe was excited about running different tracks and with different cars. So it's just something that Core does that makes it very unique. With just this one series. I mean, we have our other series, where it's just road racing or ovals with like Xfinity cars or trucks, but the Premier Series in general, where a lot of these drivers kind of stem from, is really unique to iRacing, and it really does bring something new to the table. So if you're out there and you're watching this on CRN, feel free to come over to the Core Racing Discord, or look us up on Facebook or Core Racing League. CoreRacingLeague.com, over to the website. You check us out over there. There's plenty of places, or get a hold of any of us that are up here in the booth. Dylan, myself, and Brendan, or even Carl Hanwork, some of the admins up in here. So definitely point you in the right direction if you're looking for something different.
Yeah, I kind of bounce off of what Jimmy said. I mean, we got pretty much everything for any type of driver. We got the oval, we got the dirt, we got road, we got anything and everything that anybody could potentially want to have over here. I mean, you got the Premier Series doing different car, different track every week, so it's not like a normal, let's say NASCAR Cup schedule where you're running the same car every week, but just different tracks. You're going to run a dirt truck, or you're going to run a jumpy truck at an oval, or you're going to run a road car at a jumpy track. So I mean, the opportunities are absolutely endless out here tonight, and that just shows you what a lot of these drivers out here can do. As we've seen a lot of three wide incidents here, especially at Bristol. Not really what you want to do, especially at Bristol in these spec racers, but a lot of room for a lot of these drivers to move on around. And the race was in itself was actually fairly clean all the way throughout the race. I think the only real big issues was getting in and out of pit lane.
Yeah, that was certainly an issue, you could say, but certainly an interesting race and a great all-star race here. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week at the Drivers' Cup at... Where is that anyways? I haven't even looked.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure the location of the track, but stay tuned for it to be posted, and obviously visit the webpage over there, CoreRacingLeague.com, and has plenty of information on there, and we will definitely put that out probably in one of the other broadcasts that are going out throughout the week, as it is one of the future races coming up here. Not too much time.
Yeah, and it's not just the Drivers' Cup a week from now. Also got the Xfinity Series broadcasted by myself and John Nobinger this Tuesday. The GT Series on Thursdays, if I'm not mistaken. And then I know Chop Shop, I believe. No, they've their season already ended, right?
There's a lot of things coming up, and I think the best way to follow us right now, it would be to go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell, and it'll give you all the alerts of things coming up. You got Chop Shop, Smoky Mountain on Wednesdays. You got Core, still have the Core GT series is still on Thursdays. A little bit of break here for the Premier Series for the holidays that are coming up here, and all the friends and family that are out there, even people that watch CRN, obviously from CRN, we want to wish those people, happy holidays as it comes close. So, yeah, I think it's just going to be a good thing coming. Just subscribe, hit that bell, and follow anything we do here on CRN.
All right, well, Dylan, I'll let you think close this thing out for your second to last time here in the Premiere Series. I mean, take it away.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody out there that has stayed in and tuned in the whole time that we were broadcasting this series. Glad to be back on the racetrack again next season. Haven't even seen the track for the Premiere Series since season number 5. But from the broadcast booth, my name is Dylan for CRN. Alongside of me, Brendan Polt and Jimmy Covert. Make sure you guys take care. Brush your hair.